Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and of course subscribe to the channel. Trackies, Elaine Thompson Hira is in Budapest. Now I know a lot of us have been waiting, wondering, even speculating whether or not, she will turn up and run for Team Jamaica in that 4x100 meter relay. And yes, she is indeed there in Budapest. We have no confirmation so far from the J3s that, she was not going to run, but we still didn't know from Elaine's side yet. Girl, are you going? You know what I mean? But of course, we did see her on, Rhonda White's TikTok, dancing along to some love music and enjoying themselves, So I'm excited, that she is there. And of course, she will be repping, Team Jamaica. There was a few big people on YouTube saying, she's too good to run the relay. And in my opinion, that was very divisive. In my opinion, they were trying to, exclude her from the team personally. So, I'm glad, that she did take up her spot and she will be running in that 4x100 meter relay. Now, last evening, I did have a very interesting live. And you know what? I've come up with the perfect team, for the women's 4x100 meter relay. And of course, surprisingly, this time around, it doesn't even seem that challenging. Everything just seems to be falling perfectly in place for Team Jamaica. And I'm wondering, is this the year that we could possibly even get the world record? I'm starting to, go over onto that wagon. I wasn't even on it before because I was so concerned about our girls. But now I'm getting the vibe that, listen, something is at play here. The powers that be, something is at play here, and the girls may actually do it this time around. But before I get to that, potential record, let's talk about the Heat, right? And this Heat team is actually perfectly set up, and I'm actually shocked at how easy it was to place each athlete on their individual leg to give us a fantastic run in the heat race and qualify for the finals. Now, based on the amount of athletes that the J3s chose, they chose 6 athletes to be a part of the relay pool. With that said, 2 of the individual athletes will be taking part, and I'm talking about running the individual 100 meters, will be taking part in the 4x100 meter relay. So my assumption is Natasha Morrison and Shashali Forbes will both be running in the heat. Now, with that said, again, it's the perfect heat team. It's even more perfect than any other team I've ever seen. You know what I mean? I'm talking about in the first leg, or on the first leg, Brianna Williams. Absolutely phenomenal, first leg runner. She's proved it time and time again that she is ridiculous on, the relay. Another relay bully, actually, when it comes to pulling out her best performance, regardless of whatever she's doing, in the individual 100 meters, she will come out in that 4x1 and absolutely demolish it. So, Brianna Williams, for me, is going to be stellar on that first leg, hands down. Now, into the second leg, you might be saying, oh, Elaine is going to go there. That's where she typically runs. No, that's not where I have, Elaine running this time around. I have Natasha Morrison there. Yes, she is also a relay bully. I don't know if a lot of people remember back in 2015 at the heights of Allyson Felix's prowess. She faced off against that Allyson Felix, and listen, she held her own against, Allyson Felix in that 4x1. So personally, I know that Natasha Morrison is a little relay bully herself. So I'm excited to see her, drop, a fast time on that backstretch. And of course, she's also, having a phenomenal year in the women's 100 meters. So I'm expecting something special, on that backstretch. I can't wait to see. I'm excited to see her, run on the relay. Now, moving into the third leg. This is also, another athlete that just fits in perfectly. Shashali Forbes, also an athlete that is having, a super duper year in the women's 100 meters. Twice, below 11 seconds. Not a buckups that a lot of people were thinking. I watched her in a relay, prior to the national championships. And I'm telling you, homegirl slid around the bend like butter. It was so beautiful to watch, and I was like, dang, Shashali Forbes 8. But then thinking about it, now that I'm sitting here, I'm wondering, did she, have an idea that she'd make the individual team, and possibly, when it comes to setting up the relay, the third leg would be her leg. So let me start practicing there. I'm kind of getting that vibe. But anyway, she fits perfectly there anyway. So we have Shashali Forbes right in the third leg. And of course, an anchor anchor. We've seen her do it time and time again. Elaine Thompson here have masterful anchor legs, and that is exactly where she is going to be running. Now, I've been seeing her saying, she's healed, stuff like that on her Instagram. So I'm interested to see the version of Elaine Thompson here that we get at Budapest. How much faster will she go? This is very, very interesting. And of course, I'm excited, to see what this team will do in the heats. A lot of people are concerned about whether or not the girls will be able to qualify. Please, this team is going to be taking whatever heat they're running in easy, hands down. Absolutely phenomenal athletes that will be running. All of them, at their sharpest this season so far will be running. And for me, I don't have a problem or see any issues with them qualifying. Actually, don't get me wrong, this team could actually challenge in the finals as well. But anyway, with that said, that's the heats. Now, personally, what I would do is look at the performances of each athlete on in the heats, and then possibly decide who are my other two that will be heading into the finals with Shericka Jackson and of course Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Considering that again we'll probably have to switch around some people. We'd have to switch Tasha Lee, and of course we'd probably have to switch, well, no, we wouldn't switch Tasha Lee, but we definitely have to switch Natasha from the back stretch. So in my opinion, again, I would probably just look at the who performs the best and then decides at that point, who is actually taking up a slot in the finals. But with that said, this is how, I've structured the final. And I think, things kind of fall in place perfectly as well for Team Jamaica to get, some much needed practice in. As we know, the bigger girls or the big girls this season did not head to, the training camp. We're talking about Shelly, talking about Shericka, and of course, Natasha. Two of them part of MVP, one of them part of elite, doing their secret, final touch-ups, tuning up to make sure that when they touch the track, they shock, their competition. Because remember, they're competing against their very own Jamaicans as well. So it's going to be interesting to see that part. But I think it works perfectly for Shelly because Shelly does not, take part in the 200 meters, which means that after the 100 meters is done and dusted, she gets to fit herself into the girls 4x1 or the women's 4x1, and she can start working out with them to figure out, okay, let's get this button change, working, let's get it crisp and to the point where we can get this world record or just win the race. You know what I mean? So remember, I've been talking about, Shelly being on the backstretch. Well, guess what? Shelly is still on my backstretch in the final. But again, she has time to work with the girls now. So personally, again, I'd possibly say, hey, let's go with Brianna Williams. But if they choose to stick to, the top 4 athletes, then I'm going to put Natasha, on the first leg. But again, I'd want to wait and see how the performances are done, in the heat before I decide, that first leg and of course that third leg. But anyway, so Natasha into, the GOAT, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. She's going to destroy that second leg, hands down, ridiculous. Then from there, we're going straight again into the third leg with Shasha Forbes. She actually does not move, in this scenario, and she hands straight off to Shericka Jackson. Now, in this entire setup, the only person that, would be missing, quote unquote, practice with the girls is, Shericka Jackson. But for me, it matters, not in this sense because she's on the anchor leg and all she has to do is wait there and receive that baton from Shasha Lee Forbes and then run for her life to the line. I don't think that will be too hard for Shericka Jackson, but the first 3 athletes will definitely have time to, work out together and of course get that baton around in time for one, not only to win, but also to possibly shatter the world record. Track is, if Shelly turns up in 10-6 shaping or faster, look out for that world record. Anyway, sound off in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. What do you think about, this team structure? Elaine Thompson now being on the team, the girls getting practice. Shelly actually not partaking in the 200 meter, actually helping, the 4x100 meters. Sound off in the comment section below. Like the video and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.